So, hello everybody and welcome. Yes, welcome back here at BSN Network. Today, welcome you back here at BSN Network. This is the BSN Network podcast here today. It is Thursday, September 17th. Everybody's having a good day so far and a good rest of their day yesterday. I know I did. Hopefully you did as well. It is now Thursday. We're more than halfway through the week. Tomorrow's Friday, which means game picks tomorrow. All that good stuff coming up in tomorrow's podcast. Today, on the other hand, we got a lot of good sports to get to today. Thursday Night Football tonight. Yankees are absolutely booming. They won yesterday again, 13-2, absolutely blowing out the Toronto Blue Jays in a series that we needed to play well in. We have scored a total of 33 points this series already against the Toronto Blue Jays, and we're talking about baseball, people. This is baseball. Garrett Cole with a strong 7-inning start. Kyle Higashioka with an excellent start, 3 home runs. LeMahieu got in the mix with a double and 2 home runs. I mean, everybody was hitting the ball yesterday. Kyle Higashioka, if he continues to do that, we should bench Sanchez and put in Higashioka and have Higashioka play instead, because Higashioka can definitely be our starting catcher. A better defender, a better hitter than Sanchez, in my opinion. We could very well start him. An amazing start yesterday. Mets fall again. Jacob deGrom injured in the second inning, has a hamstring injury, and now he is falling. Now he loses yesterday's start. Islanders play today, and then we have Thursday Night Football, Bengals and the Browns. So packed sports day once again. Packed sports day once again. Just another one of these packed sports days. It's been happening it's been happening so much. If I was sitting here 2 months ago, I probably would never thought that we would have came to this point where all 4 of the 4 major sports would be playing right now. When you're talking June-ish, nobody knew what was going to happen in the NBA, NHL, NFL, and MLB. Nobody really knew. But we're in the full swing of the MLB season, almost postseason, in the full swing of the NFL seasons, just started, and they're going on, and there's been no new positive cases as well, which has been great news. Then we have the NBA, MLB bubble, NHL's almost done and stuff. It's just really a lot of sports, which is great. So let's get right into it. So today, these are 3 topics. We're going to talk about the Jets situation. Kind of just going to give you the Jets situation. I was going to talk about Le'Veon Bell 2 days ago when he got placed on IR. Then I was going to talk about this, and I was kind of just thinking today, because I had my next topic I had down. I was like, I'm going to definitely talk about this topic. But I was like, what should be my other topic? I was torn between 2. It was either talk about Richard Sherman because he's going to be out against the Jets, but I was like, I could probably just talk about that a little bit tomorrow when I'm previewing the Jets game. So I was like, I should honestly just talk about the whole Jets situation. So I'm going to pretty much sit here and just talk about the Jets situation. Injuries, what's going on with the Jets, how bad we are at the moment, because there's a lot going on with the Jets right now, and it's too hard to cover in one segment. So I just want to just completely give a broad Jets situation. So I'll talk about that. Then we have the NBA bubble and the schedule. Yankees, the bubble schedule came out. We got the bracket. We got where the games will be played each round. Wild card, division, championship, then obviously leading up to the World Series. All the dates, all that good stuff. I'll be talking about that after the Jets situation. Then obviously, like every day, to cap off, to put the icing on the cake for the podcast, today we have Yankees, Mets, Islanders, and the Bengals and the Browns game. My first pick of week 2 should be a lot of fun. So, with all that being said, this is the BSN podcast, and let's get right into it. So anyway, today, I'm going to kind of, like I said in the beginning. Oh, by the way, one quick thing. I just remembered this. YouTube comments. So I'm going to take a quick minute to say this. The comments on YouTube have been very messed up. I understand. It's out of my control. I can't do much about it. I can turn them back on. I can't do much about it. That's kind of just what I kind of just want to say. If you're experiencing that the comments are turned off, I can't do any much about it. It's out of my control. I don't touch anything. I upload the video. I'll get off of my computer. I'll upload the video. I'll get off of my computer, do something else, I'll get in, then all of a sudden I realize comments are off. Gotta go back on, turn comments on. I can only turn comments back on. I have no control over if they're off or not. I can't do anything about that. So if they're off, I don't have any control over it. I'm sorry. I've tried almost everything in the book to try to get them back on. Doesn't seem to be working. To get them to be on steady. They're on for 5 minutes and they'll shut off again. They're on for 5 minutes, shut off again. I've tried everything to try to keep them on the whole time. They're just not, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is. It stinks, but it's out of my control. I really can't do much about it. It is what it is. It's kind of just YouTube being YouTube. Please turn comments back on YouTube if you're watching this video. I don't know what to do. I'm kind of, when the comments are off, I can turn them back on. It's out of my control on why they get turned off. I don't know why they get turned off. It's out of my control. So just want to kind of make that clear. I know it stinks, but it is what it is. So back to the whole Jets situation thing. Is the Jets? I kind of just want to talk about the Jets situation, right? There's a lot of things going on with the Jets. Like I said earlier on in the podcast, I don't want to break it down to, let's talk about Le'Veon Bell. I kind of just want to take a broad look at the Jets. Now, this topic, I don't know how long I'm going to talk about this. I don't know how long this could be. This could be very well short because I might just be able to just get to the point and just do it quickly. I don't know how long this is going to be, but we still have the NBA bubble scheduled to talk about. I don't usually do this often, but I'm just going to kind of give a whole broad kind of thing on what's happening with the New York Jets right now. I might break it down in individual parts, but the one problem is I don't like to, like Le'Veon Bell went on the IR 2 days ago. Like, I didn't talk about that, but I was thinking, like, what if I could possibly, maybe one of these days do, a possible, what if I could do one of these days do like a Jets situation. So I'm kind of just going to, I know I've said this about 5-6 times already. I'm going to give you just a broad thing on the New York Jets, the current state they're in, what's going on with the team, changes I think we can make, Sam Darnold situation, because there's a lot of rumors that Darnold is not going to be with the Jets for much longer. There's a lot of rumors around Le'Veon Bell. There's a lot of rumors surrounding Adam Gase, and that's one thing. I didn't want to split this up and talk about this on 4 different days of the week because you would get tired of it. So I'm going to put it all in one podcast and talk about it all right now. So here we go. So the current Jets situation, I'm just going to tell you straight up, is very bad. The Jets right now, power rankings, right? Everybody does their weekly power rankings. I do one power ranking. I pull out the piece of paper at the end of the year. I'll look at it, see how bad or good they were. Power rankings, people do their weekly power rankings. The Jets, in their week 2 power rankings, everybody has the Jets as the 32nd best NFL team in the league, which is the worst NFL team. A lot of people have the Jets as being worse, and there's a common thing, a common theme. When you make your power rankings, you tell them why you have them there. It's almost like with the Chiefs number 1. When I put the Chiefs at number 1 for my power rankings, it was very simple. I kind of told you. They're the Chiefs. There's not much else has to be said. Won the Super Bowl, got one of the best rosters in football, got the best quarterback in football. They're the Chiefs. Not much else has to be said. Same thing with the Jets right now at the 32nd team. They're New York Jets. There's not much else has to be said. One of the worst teams in the league, got probably the worst coach in the league, one of the worst offenses in the league, one of the worst offensive coordinators in the league, one of just the worst rosters in the league. Our roster's horrible. We don't have players. Half these players that are starting on offense and defense would probably be backups on other teams, right? For example, a player like even some of our starting defensive linemen. They probably would not be able to back up they would probably be backups on another team. It's just they're on the New York Jets. Our roster's thin. We're horrible. They get a starting job here. Some of them make impacts, but it's kind of just I've noticed a common theme. It's kind of the New York Jets. It's the New York Jets. It is the same thing every year. Same exact thing every single year. We get pumped for the season. Oh, let's do this, and this. Oh, we got this guy to look forward to. Same thing. Jets go to 5-11. The next year, Jets 4-12. The next year, Jets 5-11. The next year, Jets 5-11. It's the same thing over and over and over and over again. This doesn't surprise me. As a New York Jet fan, as a matter of fact, every single year, and I tell this people all the time, every single year, I'm just holding on. I'm just hoping that we win one game. Right, as a Jets fan, you can't set your hopes too high. The two main New York football teams, the Jets and the Giants, you gotta just hope for one win every single year. That's all you really gotta do. especially the Jets. I mean, the Jets have been at the bottom of the league since, you could say the argument, since Rex Ryan and Mark Sanchez were around in 2010. That was the last time we made the AFC Championship game. We lost to the Patriots, or not the Patriots, I'm sorry. We lost to the Steelers, who then went on to go to the Super Bowl. We lost them. That was the last time we were a true contender for the Super Bowl. That was the last time. That's the last time we made the playoffs. We're talking 10 years ago, people. Come 2021, that will be 11 years that we have not made the playoffs. And I'm telling you, it's the same thing every single year. The Jets, offseason. Okay, we get a couple good players. This year we could say, okay, we got Jamison. We are not Jamison Crowder. We got Brashad Perryman. All right, good move. We got Denzel Mims. Okay, good move. We got a new offensive line. Very good move. Got a couple new defensive pieces here and there. Nothing special though. Got a brand new draft pick in Mekhi Becton, who's supposed to be the next big thing. Had a very good week 1 game. He was the standout. Him, Jamison Crowder, and Marcus May were the standouts at week 1. Jamison Crowder with a 69-yard touchdown. Mekhi Becton was just overall had a good game. Did not let much pressure get to Sam on his side of the ball at left tackle. And Marcus May had 2 sacks in almost every single play, and he had 2 sacks. And the rest of it, before the Bills game, he had a total of a half a sack his whole career. The Bills game, he had 2 sacks. So he had a phenomenal game against the Bills. Crowder had a phenomenal game, and Mekhi Becton a phenomenal game. Phenomenal game. Besides them, Bell got injured, was out. Darnold struggled, missed 6-7 wide open receivers. He missed Perryman like a good 2-3 times. Missed Crowder like once or twice. He missed Chris Hogan, I think, once or twice as well. He actually missed Perryman a ton. Early on in the game, he missed Perryman like 3-4 times. Perryman was open. Like that first 2 drives, he had Perryman open like 3-4 times, and he just completely missed them. Crowder, he missed. There was a couple times, I think it happened once or twice, where he threw it right at Crowder and right at Perryman. It was just a straight-up drop ball. The one time he threw it to Herndon, and Herndon just got drilled, and it was a fumble. I mean, there was a couple times it wasn't all on Sam, but in the beginning of the game, it was mainly on Sam. I mean, Darnold, it was mainly on Darnold. He mainly just threw it out. He mainly just threw it, and it was just out. He was just off. And when I was sitting there watching the game, I was sitting there watching with people, and I was like, normal Sam Darnold, just missing players. And also in my back of my head, I was like, okay, all right, calm down a little bit. I went from being here to all the way up here, right? Calm down a little bit, right? And I was kind of thinking to myself, okay, it's the first drive in a season unlike any other, period, right? It's the first drive. You're going to have some rust. Sam Darnold's always a kind of a second half player anyway. He usually warms. It usually takes like a drive or 2 or 3 for him to warm up, which you're usually after 3 drives, you're sitting there mid-second quarter. So it usually take him a couple drives to warm up. So I was like, okay, all right. He missed badly, but I was like, okay, it's the first game. It's the first possession. You still got 13 minutes left in the first quarter. You still got a ton of time left in the game, a ton of time left in the season. I don't want to all of a sudden get on the jump of the train of this Darnold is horrible. All of a sudden, it continued to happen, and he ended up finishing off, and we ended up getting absolutely crushed by the Bills. We lost by 10, but it was a lot more. Watching that game, you would be very surprised that they won by only 10. If you watched that game, you would have thought that the Jets would have lost by like 40. It was horrible. It was so one-lopsided. It was so one-sided. We just had a couple of plays here and there. We couldn't convert on anything. The Jets situation right now is horrible, but it happens every single year. It's normal. It's every single year. Every single year we take the field and we just stink. Every single year we take the field and we're in the bottom of the league. Another thing is and I want to try to bring up some solutions here for the New York Jets, okay? There was a report that came out 2 days ago about Vegas odds. Adam Gase is supposed to be the first head coach to be out as head coach. He's supposed to be the first one, which I'm okay with. I'm happy. If we're sitting here week 6, if I'm sitting here, let's just say week 6, I'm sitting here, right, doing my podcast, and we're talking the Jets being like 1-5 at the moment, like 1-5. We're talking week 6. I'm sitting here week 6 talking about the upcoming games. Or week 7, I'm sorry, because if we were 1-5, we're 6 games. So let's just say I'm sitting here. All right, so here we go. So I'm sitting here week 6, and the Jets are 1-5. We can't get anything going. And if Gase gets fired, I would be perfectly okay with that. And I'm going to tell you this. It will help so much if we get rid of Adam Gase. He is 90% of the problem. Want to know what the other percent of the problem is the guys around him. Dowell Loggins is not good. The team's kind of the problem too. The skill is a little bit of the problem. We don't have that much skill on our team. We have a bunch of meh players on our team. We had Jamal Adams, who was all the way up here, who was amazing. Got traded. Right? We had Le'Veon Bell when he was at the Steelers, was up here. Now he's on IR. Right? A couple players here and there. We don't have that one dude on our team that's like, everybody, like listen, right? So, Bills have Stephon Diggs. Mahomes, or I was going to say the Mahomes have Chiefs. Chiefs have Mahomes, right? What are some other teams that have that one, like, standout player? Giants have Barkley. Panthers have McCaffrey, right? The Jets don't have that. We lost Jamal Adams. Like, you could say Le'Veon Bell, but Le'Veon Bell hasn't been the Le'Veon Bell we paid him $85 million to do, right? He hasn't been that Le'Veon Bell. You could say Le'Veon Bell because of the name, but if you're actually talking like players that are every week going out there and putting up a quality performance, we don't have one of those guys. We don't have him. You could say Mosley, but he's opted out. He's played one game with us. You can't all of a sudden just say, oh, Mosley. We don't have one of those guys, right? I can name you a ton right now, right? The Giants have Barkley. The Cowboys have many. The Cowboys have Elliott. Cowboys have Dak. Cowboys have Amari Cooper. Bills have Stephon Diggs. Bills also have Tre'Davious White. Those players almost every single week on a consistent basis give you a quality performance. For example, let me just read through some teams. Panthers, McCaffrey. Giants, Barkley. I want to read through a ton for you, so then I'm not just talking about three teams. Panthers, McCaffrey. Raiders, Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs can give you a quality performance every week. Raiders, Jacobs. Cardinals now, DeAndre Hopkins. Texans, Watson. Giants, Barkley. Bills, Stephon Diggs, Tre'Davious White. They can both give you quality performance, consistent performance each week. Right? Most of these teams have that one guy who can give you consistent performance every single week. Buccaneers, Mike Evans. Saints, Michael Thomas, Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara. Look at some of the bad teams. The Jaguars don't have that guy that's going to give you a consistent performance every single week. Although they did beat the Colts, I still don't buy it. The Washington, the Redskins, the football team, whatever you want to call them. They don't have that guy that's going to give you consistent performance every single week. Dwayne Haskins is going to go out there and every single week going to give you consistent performance. Maybe Chase Young. Okay, maybe Chase Young. But other than that, no. Right? There's a lot of teams out there who have that player who give you a consistent performance every week. And the Jets don't have that player. Crowder, no. Crowder's very good. He's not, I wouldn't say he's consistent. He was consistent last year. But still. He's not up there like an Evans or like a McCaffrey or a Barkley, that kind of it. The Jets don't have that kind of impact player. That's the problem. We have not had that impact player for a long time now. You could say Crowder, but Crowder's not up there with Evans and stuff. You look at most of these teams. Most of these teams have that one star player, that one player that can change a game in a blink of an eye. And the Jets just don't have that guy. And I think part of the reason is because not many players want Adam Gase as head coach. He's not a player's coach. He doesn't communicate with the players. I don't think he cares if they're winning or losing. All he cares about is the money. He's supposed to have a great offense. Our offense has been tremendously worse with him. And that's why, in a way, I feel bad for Sam Darnold. Because look at the position Sam Darnold has been put in. Todd Bowles, Adam Gase again. Guess who he could have had? Mike McCarthy. A coach who developed Aaron Rodgers, led him to a Super Bowl. Yeah, I said it. Developed a Hall of Fame quarterback. Yes, he developed a Hall of Fame quarterback. You heard me. A Hall of Fame quarterback. And Aaron Rodgers. I'm not saying you would have done it with Darnold, but I would take my chances with McCarthy over Gase. That's the Jets' problem. We don't have that guy We don't have that guy, that one player that's going to make an impact almost every game. Or every game. We don't have that player. Sure, Crowder. Crowder's good. Crowder's pretty good. But not every single game is he going to give you that great of an impact. He'll give you a good impact. Nothing like some of these other teams. And you look at the bad teams in the league. The Jaguars. The Redskins. The Jets. They don't have that one impact player that's going to give you that one play each game that's just going to make a difference. Whether it's that 20-yard burst by McCaffrey or that 20-yard burst by Barkley or that game-winning or that key interception by Tre'Davious White or that key catch by Michael Thomas. The Jets don't have that. Now, am I saying should the Jets go out and get, and you could say, well, who do the 49ers have it? Who made the Super Bowl? Yeah. Kittle. George Kittle can do that. George Kittle can change a game in the blink of an eye. Nick Bosa can change a game in the blink of an eye. The Jets don't have that. That's, I think, one of our big problems. We don't have a star on this team. We have a bunch of average players. Le'Veon Bell is above average when he's on a good team with a good offensive line, with a good head coach. He's on a team with a good offensive line, bad team, bad head coach. You need to check all three of the boxes. In Pittsburgh, good team, good head coach, good offensive line. Look what he did. With the Jets, bad team, pretty good offensive line, bad coach. Le'Veon Bell, too, was put in a horrible position. He also has a coach that doesn't like him. It's kind of tough, too, to do that. It's kind of tough to have a coach that doesn't like you. It's kind of tough to play for a coach that doesn't like you. I wouldn't even want to do it. If I was a player right now for the Jets, I wouldn't even want to play for a coach like Gase. He's horrible. He's got to be the worst coach in all the league. Worst coach in all the league. Better than worst coach in all the league. And that's saying something, too. And I'm telling you, I'm a Jets fan. I see this performance every day. Every week. Once a week. Once a week, I see this performance. I turn on TV at about 1 o'clock, or almost 1 o'clock, and watch this team every single week fail. Because we've been doing it for pretty much going on 11 years now, where we have not made the playoffs. That's the Jets situation. We're in a horrible one. We're in a horrible one. Now, sure, we beat the Niners this week. I come on the podcast and I'm happy. But still, deep down inside, I know this is not a team that's going to get anywhere anytime soon. We need a lot more pieces. A non-contender like the New York Giants even have a star in Barkley. A non-contender in the Carolina Panthers even have a star in Christian McCaffrey. Right? The Jets just don't have that one star that's just going to take them to the next level. And you look at a lot of teams that don't have them, they're struggling. The Jaguars. The Jets. The Redskins. Even the Colts. The Colts aren't the greatest team ever. They don't have that one star that's going to get you that one big play late in the game. Sure, T.Y. Hilton. Maybe the Colts do. Colts actually do. T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton is very good. He's a very good slot receiver. He can change a game in a blink of an eye. A lot of these teams that are bad, they don't have that one player that can change a game that quickly. The Bears aren't great, but they have one. When Khalil Mack's on, he can change the game that quickly. The Packers, Devontae Adams, he can change a game quickly. Vikings, Adam Thielen, he can change the game very quickly. There's a lot of players out there that can change a game very quickly. Actually, I want you guys to give me a good list. That would be nice, because maybe I'm forgetting teams, and I am, because I'm not going to go through all 31 teams, not 32, because I just named the Jets, but I'm not going to go through all the teams in the NFL and say, oh, this team has a star, not right now, but I just named a couple of them. If you give me every team in the NFL, I could tell you a star and that the Jets just don't have. The Jets just don't have that star receiver. The Jets just don't have that breakout player. And you can win without that one big star. The Niners showed it last year. They had Bosa and Kittle, but for the most part, they didn't have that one big star. As for the Chiefs, they had that one huge star. That's Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs had a star on defense and a star on offense, but not as big as a star of like Mahomes. Mahomes is the sun. As for maybe, Mahomes is the sun in comparison, and maybe Kittle and Bosa or other just stars, but they're not as big of a star. Like Mahomes is the face of the NFL, pretty much. I mean, come on. You got somebody who's Patrick Mahomes, Chiefs quarterback. It's not that hard. Jets just don't have that player. And I'm not saying the Jets need to have that player. What I'm kind of just saying is if you don't have that one big star player, if you don't have that, then that's okay. You need a good coaching staff and a good front office. The Jets don't have that one good, very good player, but we also don't have many good players, just average players to begin with. I mean, look how thin our linebacking core is right now. Look at our secondary, very thin. Bless Austin's Poole's very good. Poole's been making an impact. Pierre Desir, he was supposed to be a very good player for us, and all of a sudden he got benched because of how bad he was playing. So you don't know what to do with him now. Marcus May's good, right? Very good. I think Marcus May could very well stay here, especially if he has a good year this year. I think he's now getting a chance to do a lot more things now that Adams is not on the team anymore. We need a good coach. That's, I think, one of our big problems. We need to get Gaze out of here. Get Gaze out of here, and then we can focus on making other moves. That's what we need to do first. So the Jets' number one priority is to get Gaze out of here. If it's not during the season, then it better be after the season. If we have a season where we go 5-11 and Gaze doesn't get fired, there's a problem. There's a serious problem. There's a problem with this organization, and there's just a problem. If we have Adam Gaze, let's just say we go 5-11 this year, and Adam Gaze is our head coach once again for the New York Jets, there's a problem. Big, huge problem. So, Jets situation at the moment is not good. We don't have that one big star. Many of our players, that's another thing. Our players are injured. I mean, look what we're dealing with right here. Bell's injured. Mims is injured. Jameson Crowder didn't practice today, I'm pretty sure. Or was limited. He's now questionable for Sunday. Like, come on. There's nothing that the Jets can do correctly. Here. There's nothing that they can do correctly. Avery Williamson's is limited. Even Mekhi Becton was limited. Now Jamison Crowder was, I think, out. Denzel Mims IR. Le'Veon Bell IR. I mean, injuries left and right. And that's not the head coach's fault. That's not Gaze's fault. But, a good head coach would be able to work around that, too. I mean, I just feel like Gaze is horrible. Gaze is the number one reason. Gaze is the reason we're horrible. This is how bad. This is why. This is how I'm showing my hands right now is the percent of why is a big this how right now Gaze is the problem. This is how big of a problem Gaze is right here. Then probably the big problem is probably about this whole screen. Gaze is probably about like 80% of the problem. The other 20% might be, actually 90% of the problem. Gaze is 90% of the problem. The other percent of the problem might be just our skill as our players. We just don't have enough skill. I mean, you're talking about third, fourth string linebackers we're running right now. You're just not going to be able to. You're really just not be. We're just not going to be able to really compete. When you have your backup linebackers in there like that. Another thing I noticed too about the Jets, and I don't know if you noticed this as well, but when I was sitting there Sunday watching the game, right? Watching the game, I was enjoying it, right? When I was sitting there watching the game, you know what I noticed is when they show the highlights of other teams, it just looks like other teams' offense is just so dominant. Like other teams are throwing the ball down the field. They're getting a big 50-yard play. This highlight. Oh, they're getting a 25-yard run. Oh, look at the quarterback. He's scrambling. He throws it right to him. Like I feel like other offenses, every other offense in the NFL's, like watching the Jets is lame compared to watching like a Seahawks or the Chiefs or even a team like a not a great team, like a not an amazing team. name a non-Super Bowl contender. I would rather watch I would honestly rather even watch a team like the Colts. At least they have some plays that they make big plays. The Jets offense is just so lame. I think it's just so boring. That's another thing. It's just so boring. So, Jets situation is not a good situation, and they've got to fix it quickly here. Coming up next, we got the NBA bubble and the MLB bubble and its schedule. Alrighty, so here we go. Sorry, I was just looking at something. um. Alrighty, so here we go. Alrighty, so here we go. So, the MLB bubble. They released their schedule. They released it 2 days ago. I don't know, like a day or so ago, or even today-ish. They released their schedule for the 2020 MLB bubble for the postseason. They released the schedule. They're kind of giving you the deal, the schedule, what's going to happen, what it's going to look like, what are the teams going to look like, the bracket, where the games are going to be played. It's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. I'm just excited to see baseball get in the postseason. I'm excited to see what happens with baseball in the postseason. I think it will be very good. I think it's going to be good. I think honestly, it's going to be a success. I think the bubble will be a success. I mean, it is a hard process to figure out, all the hotels, the quarantining, all that stuff. But once you get it down, it's very difficult to get a positive case. Alrighty, so here we go. So, anyway. Okay, so sorry. I look at my sports apps to read these articles and stuff, and the problem is sometimes I have to put it into a different thing, and then I have to press on the link in order to get it to where I can get it to where my screen's sideways like this. So, anyway. So the MLB sets playoff bubbles, schedule, neutral site locations, and everything else to know for 2020 postseason. I just want to say this first off. I love postseason baseball. I don't know if you do as well. I know some people, and I'm kind of on the same boat as you here too. Sometimes postseason baseball makes you upset because it is near the end of the season, and also that means when, everybody's talking about postseason baseball comes around, it also means that it's colder weather. The summer's kind of, in the rear view. Usually by October, that's when it's kind of in the prime of the fall, and the weather can be bad. But I love October baseball. October baseball is one of my favorite time of the years for sports in general. It's entertaining. It is very fun. Fans or no fans, it's going to be very fun to watch baseball. It will be a little different seeing the Yankees not, be in a packed house at Yankee Stadium for whatever game they're in, whether it's the ALDS, ALCS, or even if they make the wild card. It's definitely going to be weird not seeing a packed house at Yankee Stadium, crowd roaring, Cole on the mound in front of so many thousand people. It's definitely going to be odd, but, it is still postseason baseball, and that's the whole point. And so they set the schedule for the playoff. Now, I've said it's about bubbles, and I talked about this bubble yesterday. So if you want to go back and watch the podcast yesterday, you can, because I'm not going to go over it all again. I read the whole thing, and I told you all about the whole bubble plan, what teams are going to have to do before it, what they're going to have to do to prepare, the quarantining period, all that stuff. Now, Now, to kind of just skim through what it's going to be like is the bubble, and this is my thing about bubbles, is it's hard, but bubbles are difficult. Bubbles can be difficult to create because you have to create the hotels, the whole quarantining thing, where the bubble's going to actually be, the stadiums, how they're going to test you. That kind of stuff is difficult, but once you get that down and you get the players in, it's pretty simple to maintain the bubble. Because the virus is not in the bubble. For example, like the NHL and stuff, right? Those teams are obviously, they've been in the bubble for a long time. They've been in the bubble for a very, 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 very long time, right? And they haven't tested positive yet, but every single day they have to get tested, just because of the whole virus thing. So, but the playoff bubble is set. So this is a 5-minute article. I'm not gonna read all of it, because if I read all of it, I will not have time to probably do the Yankees. I actually might. I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's a long article. I'm going to tell you that for sure. It is a very long article, and some of the stuff's kind of just a repeat, but I'm going to read some of it to you. So here we go. Major League Baseball, MLB sets playoff bubbles, schedule, neutral site locations, and everything else to know for 2020 postseason. Major League Baseball announced plans for its 2020 postseason on Tuesday after getting approval by the Players Association. The league announced it would hold the final 3 rounds of the playoffs, the Division Series, League Championship Series, and World Series at neutral site locations. Players will be housed nearby to set up one location bubble for each series. The league will start the playoffs with the Wild Card Series on September 29th. The 8 best of 3 matchups in that round will be played at the higher seeds home ballpark. Here are the bubble locations for the expanded playoffs: NLDS Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas, and Minute Maid Park in Arlington, Texas, and Minute Maid Park in Houston. ALDS will be at Petco Park in San Diego and Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. NLCS will be at Globe Life Field. ALCS will be at Petco Park. World Series will be at Globe Life Field. A bubble approach for the MLB will be minimize the risk of another coronavirus outbreak. Shortly after the 2020 season began, there was a major coronavirus outbreak among the Miami Marlins. The St. Louis Cardinals also suffered from a team-wide outbreak, and both put MLB season in jeopardy. All in all, the league has been forced to postpone 43 total games on the schedule due to positive COVID-19 tests. A COVID-19 outbreak during the season would wreak havoc over the tournament schedule and competitive integrity. Here are 4 things to know about the league's plan for the 2020 playoffs. This will be a change from regular season. This will be a change from regular season. I actually might read this whole article. When Major League Baseball returned to play in July, it was one of the major American professional sports league committed to traveling amid the coronavirus pandemic. Other sports leagues like the WNBA, NBA, and MLS determined that one location bubble setup was the right choice for their return to play plans. Our R.J. Anderson previously broke down why baseball didn't use the bubble plan for the 2020 regular season. When baseball first returned, there were no formal restrictions for players or any other team personnel like managers and coaches. After the outbreaks with the Marlins and Cardinals organization, the league doubled down on wearing masks in the dugout during games and adhering to socially distancing guidelines. The league also added the requirement that every team is to travel with a compliance officer who ensures that team, staff, and players adhere to the league's health and safety protocols. Although the league's postseason setup won't eliminate travel altogether, this would actually be the first teams are leaving their geographical-based divisions. A bubble setup for each series in the postseason will help minimize the chance of an outbreak. Players will likely still have to follow similar strict guidelines from the regular season. Number 2, quarantines for players' families to begin a week before playoffs. During negotiations on the format of this year's postseason, One of the disagreements between the players and the league was the restrictions for players' families who wish to enter the bubble. As of Tuesday, families will be permitted to be with players leading up to and during the postseason. Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic reports. Players' families will be allowed to quarantine with players on contending teams for 7 days leading into the postseason. Then they'll be able to remain together for the entirety of their post-playoff or their team's playoff run. For the families that decide to go this route, they will be considered part of MLB's bubble. All members inside of the bubble will reportedly be tested daily. According to Joel Sherman of the New York Post, all players on contending teams will move into hotels beginning next week, the final week of regular season, to create a quarantine-like situation before playoffs. Here's more from Sherman. Some players fought against the concept, believing that the sport has done well in the last month in minimizing COVID-19 cases, and were concerned that teams that went into the quarantine late September and reached the World Series could be away from their families for a month or more. But MLB has strongly expressed the fear of coming this far and not concluding the playoffs, and pushed hard for the safest possible protocols to finish out the year. So the plan that was hammered out requires all contending clubs, even those at home, to move to a hotel in the last week of the regular season. All players on 40-man rosters and IL will be asked to join that quarantine because once it begins, clubs can no longer summon a player from the alternate site to join the 28-man roster. It will only be those who are in quarantine. As teams are eliminated from playoff contention, players on those clubs can leave hotels if they desire. Families of managers and coaches were not included in the MLB-MLBPA agreement due to there simply not being enough capacity in hotels. But as the postseason field narrows, there will be room, Rosenthal adds. All members inside the bubble will be tested daily. Okay. Locations are set. Attendance is up in the air. The World Series will be held in the Rangers' new ballpark, and the bubbles are such that no team will play at home after the first round. In best of the 3 wildcard rounds start the playoffs, the higher seed will host all games at its home ballpark. Those series will quickly trim the playoff field to 8 teams who will move to the neutral sites. Fans have not been able to attend MLB games this season due to the pandemic, though that could change in October. Speaking earlier this week, MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred said he hopes fans will be able to attend ALCS or LCS and World Series games in some capacity. Number 4, postseason format, date, schedule, and bracket. This year's postseason will look different from for a variety of reasons. The 2020 playoffs will consist of expanded 16-team field. For one, there will be 8 teams from each league, more than half of MLB, that make the playoffs. The division winners, the second-place teams, and then 2 teams with the best records beyond those 6 clubs, no matter the division alignment for the postseason within those divisions. But after the first wild card series, the remaining 8 teams will play a more traditional postseason format. Because there is not going to be travel between ballparks during the division and championship series, the schedule for both series will not include any off days. Another notable change will be the guaranteed 8-game playoff day on September 30th, with all the wild card series taking place, 4 of which will be elimination games. Here are key dates and bracket for the 2020 postseason. September 29th, wild card series begins. September 30th, 8-game day with wildcard series in action. October 5th, ALDS begins. October 6th, ALCS begins. October 11th, ALCS begins. October 12th, NLCS begins. October 17th, ALCS Game 7 if necessary. October 18th, NLCS Game 7 if necessary. And October 20th, World Series begins. October 28th, World Series Game 7 if necessary. So this is pretty much how it is. So this is the postseason bracket. And it sent me all the way back up to the front of the article. Wonder why it did that. So this is the postseason bracket. So I don't know. I can't do that, but it's kind of very difficult to see. You probably won't be able to see. It's that black thing right in the middle of it. You probably can't see that, but that is the postseason bracket. It's kind of difficult to see for me, but I could always pull it up later one of these days and show it to you guys. I mean, it's just a regular postseason bracket, except it is, in fact, not going to be at home stadiums. So, yeah. So, like I said, it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch these teams play against each other and see what happens. I think it's going to be interesting. I think there might be some times where players maybe really miss their families and stuff, and there might be some times too where it's just part of the business. I guess it really all depends on what side of the boat you're in. It's going to be a lot of fun, though. I will tell you that for sure. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think these players are, even though some of them were iffy about the whole family thing, I think some of these players are really just itching just to get this, season not done with, but they want to try to compete for that championship, and that's that whole goal is holding up that trophy. That's the whole goal, and that should be a lot of fun to see. So with all that being said, that's what I got for the MLB bubble schedule. Now coming up, we have the Yankees, Mets, Islanders, Bengals versus the Browns. Yes, we got Thursday night action tonight. It should be a lot of fun. First game pick of week 2 will be tonight. Should be a lot of fun. So let's get into it. So the Yankees yesterday dominated once. Again, they played today again at 7:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, trying to go for the 3-game sweep. So Yankees yesterday, they won 13-2. Yankees had 13 runs, 14 hits, no errors. Blue Jays, 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors. Yankees had 14 hits. They moved to 20-21 on the season, 7-game win streak. LeMahieu went 3 for 4, 3 runs, 1 walk, and 3 RBIs. Judge went 0 for 4. Talk went 0 for 1. Hicks 1 for 3 with 2 runs and 2 RBIs. Voit 1 for 4 with a run scored and 3 RBIs. Kratz 1 for 1. Urshela 1 for 5. Frazier 2 for 3 with a run scored, 2 walks, 2 RBIs. Sanchez 1 for 5 with a walk, with a run scored. Wade went 1 for 4 or 1 for 3 with 2 runs and a walk. Higashioka 3 for 4 with 3 runs and 5 RBIs, 3 home runs. He dominated. Cole went 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. Loizaga 1 inning, 1 hit, no earned, no walks, no strikeouts. Nick Nelson 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 earned, no walks, no strikeouts. Yankees win, big win. I give us another win tonight. We are dominating right now, and I give us another win. Especially if our hitting is going to continue this way, it's going to be amazing. The Mets, on the other hand, they lost yesterday. They play again today at 7:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or no, I'm sorry. They won yesterday. I'm sorry about that. I read that wrong. I'm sorry about that. So they moved to 22-27 on the year. Phillies moved to 24-24 on the year. Mets had 5 runs, 10 hits, 1 error. Phillies 4 runs, 11 hits, 1 error. 22-27 on the season. Nimmo went 2 for 3 with a run scored. Alonso 0 for 1. Chirinos 0 for 0. Conforto 1 for 3 with a run scored and a walk. J.D. Davis 3 for 4 with 2 runs and 3 RBIs. Dom Smith 1 for 4. Cano went 1 for 4 with an RBI. Rosario went 0 for 0 with a run scored. Frazier 0 for 4. McNeil 1 for 3 with a walk. Jimenez 1 for 4 with an RBI. Ramos 0 for 2. Gilmore 0 for 1. And Marisnik 0 for 1. DeGrom pitched 2 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Waka 4 innings, 5 hits, 4 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned, no walks, 3 strikeouts. Wilson 1 inning, no hits, no earned, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Castro 1 inning, 1 hit, no earned, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. Diaz 1 inning, 1 hit, no earned, no walks, 3 strikeouts. Mets pick up the win. I'll give him the win today. Coming off of that big win yesterday, I'll give him the win again. Islanders, I also give the win tonight. They looked very good in their game 2 days ago. They looked very good. I give them another win. This is going to be a lot of fun. I think the Islanders have definitely a good shot. They win this game. They force it to Game 7 on Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I say the Islanders win and force a Game 7. Let's see what happens there. Now we move to the Bengals and the Browns game. This game, you might think my pick surprised me. Now let me just go back to the Yankees really quickly. And let me just tell you once again how many hits they had. They had 14 hits. I mean, just dominating right now. Okay, so now here we go. So this is going to be interesting. So this is my first pick of week 2. First game picks of week 2. Should be a lot of fun. I think I personally think this is going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a close game. I think the spread is 6.5. I think it's going to be a good game. So let me just see something here. So, scores. NFL. Boom. Okay, so tonight, 8:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on NFL Network. The over-under is 43.5. I have the Browns are 6-point favorites. So here are all the outs for the Bengals. Geno Atkins is out. Daniels is out. Williams is out. Filio is out. Browns are Hubbard's questionable. Conklin's questionable. Jarvis Landry's questionable. Treader's questionable. Wills is questionable. Olivier Vernon's questionable. Williams is out. Phillips is out. Johnson's out. And Wilson is out. This is going to be an interesting game. Okay, I have this game. The team who I am picking, I have them winning by 4 points. So I have the 6-point favorites. I have it being under. I'm going to say the winner of this game is, I think it's going to be closer than 6 points. I think it's going to be a 4-point game. I think it's going to be the over-under. I'm taking the under. The over-under is 43.5. I have the game 21-17. Bengals win. I have the Bengals winning 21-17. I will take the under. That's 38 total points. I take the under 43.5. I take the under, and I say it's a 4-point game. Bengals win 21-17. I think it's going to be close. The reason I have the Bengals winning is I just think that the Browns are just not in good position right now. They scored 6 points last week against the Ravens. I think the Bengals look very good. The only reason they lost was that missed kick. They could have went to overtime, but it would have been 1-0. I think Burrow played well. A.J. Green, Tyler Boyd, they're going to have a decent day there as well. Good receivers, pretty good defense. I think the Bengals win. I know this isn't like me saying, this is 6-point favorites, people. I mean, they have the Browns taking 6-point favorites. They have the Browns as pretty big favorites. I mean, this is a pretty big gamble by me, but I have the Bengals winning. The Browns looked horrible. The Bengals look good. I have the Bengals winning this game, 21-17. So, should be a lot of fun. I mean, like I said, I think this is obvious. I don't think the Bengals are all. I don't think the Bengals are the amazing, but I don't think the Browns are all that amazing either. I don't think the Browns are all that good. I think the Bengals are a pretty good team. I don't think they're amazing, but they're good. I got the Bengals winning 21-17. That's my game pick for tonight. It's game 21-17 Bengals. Telling you. Pick the Bengals. I think they're gonna win. So that's my game pick, 21-17, Bengals win. With all that being said, that will do it for the podcast today. This should be a lot of fun tonight watching those games. Excited to see what happens with the Yankees and everything. So, with all that being said, that's what I got for the podcast today. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. I know I did doing it. I love doing these things. So hopefully you all enjoyed it. That's what I got for the podcast today. I'll see you all back here tomorrow. Tomorrow is Football Friday again. We got our Week 2 game picks. We'll talk about what happened in tonight's game and the Bengals and the Browns game. Hopefully the Bengals win because I picked them. We'll talk about that game. We'll preview all the games for Sunday. Then obviously Monday I'll preview those games and do my fantasy football. Who you should start, who you could sit, who you could add. Good players that you should start. We'll do all that stuff tomorrow. 10-6 of my game picks at the moment. Let's make it 11-6 with the Bengals winning, hopefully. So should be a lot of fun. I'm excited, and so with all that being said, I'll see you all back here tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.